Hi, this is Jacques Taylor, and you're listening to Jacques Talk. This is a podcast where I talk about the Cowboys, the team I've covered as a beat writer, columnist, TV insider, and radio host for 28 years. I'll also talk about the NFL and the things I love, working out, streaming, food, and all things Dallas. Welcome to Jacques Talk, where sports is fluid. What's true today might not be true an hour, a day, or a month from now. I'm going to give you the truth straight, no chaser. Glad to have you aboard. Let's get it. Welcome, my friends, to episode 117 of Jacques Talk. I'm Jacques Taylor, joined by my boy Big Joe in the Big Rig. What's sit rip, dog?
We are 48 seconds in. We are 5x5, and Operation Jacques Talk is a go.
This is episode 117, which means number 17. You either want Dandy Don, you want Quincy Carter, you want Jason Garrett. Is there anybody else?
I forgot about Jason. Yes.
You forgot about Jason.
I don't know. I was thinking another 17, but I forgot about Red Jesus. I forgot about him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, 17. We're gonna go Dandy Don and Jason Garrett and Quincy Carter's all right.
Well, Quincy Carter was played a huge role in my career, so I'm all right with Quincy. The drama that he brought and the relationship we had. We'll have to talk about that one day, maybe right before training camps.
But Quincy was up and down, and then he was out, and I like Quincy, but
I like Quincy.
Yeah.
Quincy, and we're gonna say this, then we're gonna move on to the Mavericks. Quincy was the quintessential self-sabotager, and that's ultimately what cost him. Now he could probably look back at his life now and be like, "Damn, I see what people were telling me, and I see when I went wrong, and hopefully he can use those lessons as a young man to be productive as he moves up there in age." But man, Quincy was a wild ride for the time he was the Cowboys quarterback.
He was also the first. He was also the first run on the Cowboys trying to get baseball players to play quarterback.
Yeah, not a very successful run. But, it's Cowboys. I always try to get the quarterback on the cheap.
Yeah, Chad Hutchinson and Drew Henson. Yeah.
Can y'all go sign Dak while we out? Because I don't know if I got another 6 or 7 year run of mediocre quarterback play in me. Yeah. And for those of you, real quickly, who think Trey Lance is the answer, he is the answer. Until he's not. Since none of us have really seen him play very much in the NFL, but maybe we will get a chance to see him play with the Cowboys.
Very few people seen him play, period.
This is very true. Moving on to your Dallas Mavericks, who took it on the chin last night. I thought for just a second they had a chance, but ultimately they didn't. 106-88. I predicted a Celtics win, but I had it 106-97, so I'm impressed that I got the 106 part right. I thought the Mavericks were in trouble almost from the jump. I didn't think they'd get blown per se, but I thought they were in trouble almost from the jump because I think it took them 3 or 4 minutes to get their first bucket. Luka couldn't hit early, and I was just like, okay, if Luka is not going to be on one to start the game and give everybody time to work their way into the game, it's probably not going to happen. And so, I think it's. I just think it is what it is. They took a shot. They didn't have much, and the game was over with about. When did they do that, man? We're gonna get into that deeper, but basically with about 2 minutes left in the first quarter. The Celtics spurted on them, and the game was over. To me. How'd you see it?
It just looked like the Mavericks were trying to get buckets. It was kind of like pulling teeth. It just wasn't – when they wasn't hitting nothing, they don't come out hot, and they got to chase them guys the whole game, it's going to always be a problem because they use so much energy to try to make a run that they just out of gas by the end of the game. So – yeah. I thought it looked like that to me. It looked like, when, like you say, when Luka ain't hitting his shot, it looked like it's going to be a long day.
Well, it was, I put this on Twitter before the game. Basically, and I'm not breaking news here when I say this, but sometimes you just like to throw it out there in case for some people who ain't thought about it much. Like, to me, it was going the game was all going to be about the first few minutes. Can you weather the storm from the emotion from Boston, and can you get into it? And if you can survive the first quarter, then I think we'll have a really great game, because the Mavericks will be like, damn, okay, we got a shot. And the Celtics will be like, oh, nah, we ain't trying to go back to Dallas. And you can really have an epic game, even if they won or lost. But once they really couldn't hit anything, and they missed some wide open shots, and I was like, let me see if Kyrie's coming out assertive. Okay, but he can't hit nothing. And Luka couldn't hit anything. And Boston turned up his defense intensity quite a bit. And the combination of that is just, it was too hard for the Mavericks to do anything on offense. And they needed somebody to have a shot early. Nobody did. And so it was, it's just, to me, it was over very quickly in my mind. I was like, well, they're hanging around, but I just don't see it. Now, here's the interesting thing, though. Let's be real. Who amongst us thought the Mavericks were going to the NBA Finals? I can honestly say nobody when the playoffs started. So several weeks ago, I made plans to go hang out with my son and my brother and my father in Phoenix for Father's Day. Now, I didn't expect the Mavericks, when I set the reservation, to be playing in the NBA Finals. And so I scheduled a flight where I was trying to check the flight on Sunday night. And I looked at my son and said, hey, dog, we're going to be in the air while the Mavericks are playing. I guess we're going to have to follow the game on social media. And ironically enough, man, because the rules, I think, have changed. You used to not really be able to stream Netflix or anything when you were on a plane with the internet. You could you go to other sites, but you couldn't stream anything. Well, maybe they've changed those rules, because I really didn't expect to be able to stream the game. But just on a wild thing, I went to YouTube TV and said, clink, why the game pop up, man? So here's what happened. Mavericks was down 9-2.
Wait, is that legal?
What you mean?
Did you check with somebody? Is that okay for you to watch the game?
I assumed if they allowed. I've been on flights where I tried to stream Netflix and a little message comes up that says, you can't stream.
Okay.
So if they allowed it to happen. And I think now, I don't fly nearly as much as I used to, but I think over the years they probably relaxed the rules.
Oh, okay.
Because everybody's streaming.
Oh, everybody was on there.
Well, it used to be 1 or 2 streaming options. Now it's a million of them.
Right.
Depending on what you try to look at. And so the score was 9-2, and the screen froze for like 10 minutes. And I was like, dang. Then it unfroze, and it was 15-13. I looked at my son. I said, hey, maybe there's a chance, because they got over that first little hump. And then, man, so we watching the game. We got lucky. There was no middle person in our flight, no middle seat, no person sitting in the middle seat. So he was in the window. I'm on the aisle. We watching the game, and then. Now, this is one time where Jason Kidd gets criticized a lot for not taking timeouts. He likes the Phil Jackson approach. Play through it, learn a lesson. Don't expect me to bail you out every time you got a problem. But tell me this, dog. The score is 19-18 with 1:55 left in the first quarter. And again, I'm looking at my son like, Dante Exum hit a 3. Okay, maybe something's happening. And right then, man, it was like, boom. I was like, how did this happen? And just like that, the Celtics turned it up, man. Your boy Hauser hit a 3. Then there was a turnover. Then Jaylen Brown hit a 3. And just like that, it was like 26-18. And then I think P.J. Washington got his pocket picked. That led to a fast break layup. And all of a sudden, it was 26-18 at the end of the first quarter. And I was just like, how the hell did that happen? And after that, man, Boston went on one of them 3-point shooting sprees. And I was like, it was classic, dog. They were making threes. The Mavericks were making twos. And all of a sudden, they just kept, the lead was 12. Then it was 13. Then it was 14. And at that point, I remember thinking to myself, the problem with the way the game is going is the Mavericks don't look like they have a run in them. If the Celtics hit another run in them while they up 12, this thing a wrap. And so, how were you feeling at that particular time?
Well, the Mavericks get on my nerves when they start outside in. When they start off shooting the tray, you miss the first couple. Don't keep shooting them things. Start playing inside out. Luka is a great 3-point shooter. I don't know if he's a high percentage 3-point shooter, but he's pretty. He can make some shots. But his best asset is getting in that lane where it's damn near a guaranteed two, and then kicking it out. But when they start off shooting deep like that, Kyrie started off shooting deep, and they wasn't hitting nothing. How about we go mid-range? How about we get closer to the bucket? They started out outside in, and that gets you behind real fast. What's the most consistent shot they have? Is it Luka in the paint or PJ in the corner?
No, it's definitely Luka in the paint.
There you go. They didn't do that.
Nope. But they still hanging around, man. It's 48-37 with 5 minutes left. It's 48-39. And I'm just like, if they could just put a run together, they could get within 4 or 5 by halftime. Maybe, just maybe, you could put a little doubt in their mind. Just a little bit. Because we know the Celtics the Celtics can be, they can have some weird plays, some weird moments. And then, man, it just fell apart. It is weird. Your boy Josh Green hit a 3. With, again, 2:11 left in the first half. It's 54-42. Okay, can they get a stop? Can they get a little mini run? Can they get within 5 or so? And just like that, man, Jaylen Brown hit a bucket. Jaylen Brown hit a 3. Derek White hit a 3. And you could just see the run coming, man. And then Jason Tatum hit a 3. I was just like, oh, snap. And, it ended up the little leprechaun comes down and hits his second 3 at the end of the first half. I'm talking about Peyton Pritchard. And all of a sudden, man, it was a 9-point game. And all of a sudden, it's 21 at halftime. I mean, that spurt in about 2 minutes, I was just like, wow. And at that point, we were about to land. I told my dude, this one appears to be over, my man. And so that was it from watching it on the air. But that spurt, man, did you see that coming?
Yeah, I felt like the Celtics, the Mavericks, I always think like this whole series, that the Mavericks match the Celtics, and then the Celtics roll out Jason Tatum to do whatever. Whether it be assist, whether it be some defense, whether it be scoring. I think he sacrificed this game for the team. And then Drew Holiday, like they were saying, he was a utility guy, but I thought Jason Tatum was the X factor in the whole thing. I don't think he was probably the MVP like Brown got it, but he was the X factor because he did a lot of gritty stuff.
Well, the thing that he did, even though he ended up with 31 points in each of the last, he ended up with 31 points in this game. I think the one thing he figured out is, he was only 1 for 7 on threes, but he was like, all right, when my three is not falling early, I will drive it, take it to the bucket, take it strong. But, dude, he was killing them with the assist game, man. He had 11 assists. He had 8 rebounds. He just played an all-around game. And he was okay, as you said, with not getting his offense. And I think that was a big deal because, when you're a young guy, so much of your self-worth is placed on your offense. How many points did I score, this or that? And he was willing to have quiet first halves or quiet first quarters and just let the game come to him offensively, knowing that I got these assists that I'm setting everybody else up. I'm doing the thing, we winning, so there's no need for me to do anything but what I'm doing. We got a lot of guys who can score and I can facilitate. And it was just It was a tough night for the Mavericks. They were never really in it to me. Second half was more of an exchange of buckets and a long time for the Celtics to celebrate their first championship since 2008, the 18th title overall, which is the most in NBA history. And for them, it'll be an enjoyable summer. And then it's about, can we repeat? Because that's what it's about in the NBA. When you're talking about dynasties, are you a one-hit wonder or do you got staying power? I think one of the keys to the series, and I ain't breaking no news here, but I'm a little surprised that Tatum and Brown outplayed Kyrie and Luka by so much. What about you?
I'm a little different. I think a little different on that. I think that you could look at it as the duo on duo, but the Celtics didn't play like that. They played like that in the past, and it didn't do them no good. You know, relying on just Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and everybody was kicking them in the butt, saying they not good together. Why don't we break it up? Why don't y'all do something else? Well, instead of breaking it up, they added some pieces to it. So I think the Mavericks was superstar driven, while the Celtics was team driven. You know, just the overall team. If it was superstar on superstar, I think we get them. Especially if Luka was 100%. I think we get them if it was just that kind of series. But the whole, as a whole, the Celtics was just a better team overall.
No, I get that. I wouldn't dispute that. Even in terms of style of play. I just mean that whether you talking about points or however you talk about the because when you start the series, it's always about how your stars are going to play and then how your role players are going to play. Because there was 4 definite stars in the series, maybe 5 if you count Porzingis. But he didn't, he was out, and then he was hurt, then he played. But when you get down to it, it's Brown and it's Tatum, and it's not necessarily a scoring thing, but it's just how well did you play. And the thing I think you're saying is when Tatum had a bad night shooting or Tatum was off shooting, they had other guys who could step up and help, and that's ultimately what helped them win the series.
No, I'm saying everybody played well on Boston.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody. It wasn't no step up. They all played well. I mean, it allowed Jason to stay back in the cut. It was almost like he was reserved. The Mavericks, the second game, the Mavericks made every adjustment that they could make, and in walked Jason. And there was no adjustment for him. That's what I'm saying. It's a team. If it's a team effort, why did they beat Minnesota? Minnesota got 1 cat, and their team was okay.
Right.
But Boston got 2, but hell, everybody. The thing I've been hearing and people have been saying to me is everybody can guard their own yard. Everybody can generate their own offense pretty much, and they was doing that. And then, like I say, they played as a team. We got 2 guys that dribble the air out the ball sometimes. They don't have that in Boston. So I don't know. We rely too much on the stars because we only been a team since the trade deadline. And them guys played 100. And Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown played 107 games together in the playoffs.
Right.
So they know each other. If we keep the band together and we get a training camp and we figure out more of who can do what, I think we got a chance to be good for the next 5 or 6 years.
I think it's a case where they have to, guys will work on their individual games and add to their skill set, and they need 1 or 2 more pieces, and then the continued maturity of the guys that they got to try to win during this period where they got them. The good thing is they got pretty much, to the best of my understanding, they got pretty much everybody locked up. except for Derrick Jones Jr. And I think he's proved that he's a really nice piece, and you would love to get him back. I like him because, in addition to what he brings as a player, he got that attitude that I think every good team needs. He really don't back down from nobody. He first to jump in the fight too. So when you got that, and you have P.J. Washington, from an attitude standpoint, I think that's something the Mavericks have lacked in the past, and I think all that kind of attitude helps them and gives them some of that toughness and some of that edge that they haven't had in the recent past. And so I think they'll keep the band together, but I think they, when you talk about the stars in the duo, like Luka, to me and to most people, didn't play well last night. Average at best. Wasn't the impact player we're used to seeing. And I just looked at his box score, which I hadn't really paid much attention to. And he still ended up with 28 points, 12 rebounds, 12 of 25 shooting. Now, when it mattered most, neither him or Kyrie got it down, because at one point I think they were 4 for 14, and that's when the Celtics had pulled away. But I think when you look back at the series, it's more about Kyrie. He didn't. At this level, your best players have to show up in some way, shape, or form. It don't always have to be points, as Jason Tatum showed us in a couple games, but you got to show up. And I think he tried to show up, but there was nothing there last night, man.
He did.
18 points.
He did say, we talked about the other day, but we thought it was BS when he said the crowd, when people saying the crowd was messing with him. You know what? He came back and said the crowd was messing with me. He said it did kind of affect me. Yep. I was surprised by that, but he said it. He said it did it. So, as one of my friends say, that's why that fool was burning sage in Boston, in Boston at one time. Boston. He ran into the one team that's gonna give him a mental problem or whatever, a mental hurdle he got to get over. Or whatever.
Well, it might have been between the mental hurdle and the physical talent on the team is why he ended up the way he did.
Yep.
It's a combination of both things. Like maybe one, if it was just one or the other, it wouldn't have been a big deal. But when you put them both together, because outside of Game 3 when he was dynamic, he was good in Game 4. He was, but everybody was good in Game 4. He was dynamic in Game 3, and they needed him to be dynamic in a couple other games to really get it done. I don't really have. Let me go back to Kyrie right. So, what's he ends up with? 5 out of 16, 15 points, 9 assists, and I think he played hard. I just don't think he played well. He showed to me, man. Somebody asked him about Boston. Did you hear those quotes?
No, I don't think so.
And I was like, wow. He is, they're going to hate him in Boston because that's what fans do, and that's okay.
They're supposed to.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean, like, that's okay. That's what they're supposed to.
What he did in Boston, they're supposed to.
Right? But if you are an outside fan looking in, and you can't listen to him if you get a chance to listen to him and kind of hear the growth and maturity in him just as a person, then, that's really more about you than it is about him. Because he was very thoughtful in his comments the other day about Boston, and he said, and I hadn't heard this before, and he was, I'm paraphrasing, of course, and he was like, I didn't really want to be traded to Boston. I asked for a trade, but Boston was not a place I wanted to be traded to. So I didn't show up with the right kind of attitude and the right kind of mindset. And then he said something interesting. He said in Boston, they want you to buy into the Celtics culture and the great franchise and all of this. And he said, I never bought into it. I never reached out to anybody to talk about the Celtic traditions and all of this. And he said, if I had to do it over again, I'd go talk to some of the greats who played for the Celtics and kind of immerse myself in what is to be a Boston Celtics, because, they're one of the great franchises, whether it's the Lakers or the Cowboys or the Yankees. They got the Red Sox. When you got a franchise like that, you have to embrace the history. because it's built on that. And so he talked about how he didn't do that and how ultimately all the stuff the reason why people in Boston are mad, he said, I brought it on myself. I'm not blaming anybody. And I was just like, to me, it's just such a mature thing to say. Now, I'm going to say this like this. As opposed to my man Des Bryant, who when he's talking about his difficulties his last couple of years in Dallas and at the end of his career, accepts no responsibility for it. It's everybody else's fault. It's the media or it's the management, it's the coaches. It ain't got nothing to do with him. And so, a few years from now, he may feel differently. But to hear Kyrie talk about the maturity and then to see him at the end of the game, greeting all his team, going to shake hands with the Boston players when he checked out for the last time, and then wait for all his teammates to walk off the court and give each one of them an individual handshake, some of them a hug. That's a sign of growth, man. And I think we forget, or we don't really think about it. Like a dude like Kyrie showed up in the NBA at 19. Now he's 32. Do you know how much maturity takes place in all of us from 19 to 32? That's really the difference between graduating from high school in general, finding your career, whether it's in college or trade school or whatever you do, finding a mate, having a kid, getting a house, all that kind of stuff, man. Period. And so for most of us, we have amazing transformation during that 13-year period. But we don't have to do it under public eye. We don't have to do it under the media scrutiny and everything else. And so it's always good to see and cool to see when cats can get through that and start to become really the best version of themselves. Because again, he ain't but 32.
It depends on what you ask somebody 19 to do.
What you mean?
The average age of a soldier that died in Vietnam was 19. A lot of guys I served with was 19 going on 32 in 2 weeks of the shit they've been through.
Yes.
So yeah, I say that to say this. To let me switch up a little bit. That's what I'll be thinking about when you say, it depends on what you ask somebody 19 to do. But I would say this, jump to him being mature. That was a public apology to the city of Boston. And ain't gonna keep him from booing him, but it's gonna make him. It should make him feel better that he said that.
See, I think that's good because I think what you said is exactly right. That wasn't like that. That was when people say, "Let me get this off my chest," and you can accept it or you can reject it. But I need to tell y'all this, or I need to say this. And I think you're right. It probably give him some peace of mind to say, "Hey, here's how I'm really feeling about this." And some of y'all still be mad, and some of y'all be, "Oh, okay, that's cool. We still gonna boo you, but at least we don't hate you now."
Yeah. Well, at least he ain't. Yeah. I mean, you gotta love yourself first. You gotta admit. I think admitting that stuff. Hey man, I had a bad attitude. I ain't reach out to nobody. And hell, I didn't want to go to Boston. I wanted to get out of Cleveland, but not Boston. Ain't no beaches in Boston. Ain't none of that. Sometimes you thinking about one thing when you thinking about, sometimes winning, maybe he already won. Maybe he just wanted to be in another situation where the city was more fun and Kyrie was a skateboard guy and all of that other stuff. And ain't nobody doing that in Boston that I know of. I don't know. I understand what he's saying, but I do appreciate the fact that he said that now that you read those quotes to me.
Now, how do you feel about Luka after this series? Because he took it. He got his butt smacked.
Man, that's part of being a damn star. That's part of being, you got to get there. You got to get there to, I put it to you, I use this analogy. When my son used to run down on the kickoff, he's the fastest player on the team, he'd miss the tackle. He'd go, "Dad, I missed the tackle." I said, "Yeah, but you got to get there to miss the tackle."
Right.
You know, you got to be able to break down. So you got to be the superstar to take the ass kicking that Luka got. He can grow from that. You know, everybody is such a quick reaction deal where when they target him on defense, and JJ Redick talking about, you got to learn how to play two ways. JJ, your ass didn't play two ways.
Ever.
So
Ever.
He ain't got to play two ways. It's a lot of guys. Some guys can and some guys don't. You know, and some guys, it's a lot of guys that are champions that didn't play two ways. Kyrie has not always been. Kyrie is more of an opportunistic defensive player where he'll get steals, but he don't shut nobody down. He don't necessarily play Tim Hardaway Olay defense, but he plays. Kyrie plays some defense, but he not really a defensive player. So
no, I mean I would put Luka in that category in terms of being opportunistic.
So it's like, what you talking about? Everybody want to talk that. I mean, it was like, Windhorst pretty much called him a loser, and everybody have a quick reaction, and he can't do this. He's still great. And guess what? Yeah, he whined to the official, but how many texts did he get during the playoffs? None, right? He didn't get no text, right?
I don't think so. That's a good point. I don't think so.
Well, Luka used to be whining so much that he would automatically get a text. I don't think he got any in the playoffs. So I don't know what you say, the skinniest fat guy, whatever the hell that is.
I'm so proud right now.
Whatever, dog. That's some stupid. That's stupid, but I'm just saying it's the lesser of two evils. It's like okay, he didn't get no text, so we got him to whine a little less. Yeah. But on the national stage, he was distracted and he whined, and everybody picked up. We knew that that's Luka light, but I don't think everybody else knew that was Luka light. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's we've discussed this before, but it's whenever time you have a Luka conversation, it comes up because it's the same thing, make you laugh, make you cry. Mm-hmm. You have to take the fire and the competitiveness and all the stuff that make him great is some of the stuff that get on your nerves. It's all part of the same package. And if you take it away, hey, don't do it like that, you might not get the same guy.
Yeah, he the classic guy of if he on my team, I love you.
Yeah.
But if he on the other team,
get on my damn nerves.
I hate you, dog. Get out of here. I'm gonna beat you up, Yeah. When he hits that shot, he cussing out the crowd or cussing to himself. I'm good with that. I'm hyped with that. But if you the other team, you don't like that. But I don't know. I'm glad you asked me what I thought about Luka. Nationally, they tried to do a hit job on him, but he's still cold though. He's still cold. I don't care what they say. He's still cold, man. That's our superstar.
I think you just have to understand. So many times people want you to be who they are or what they want you to be instead of who you really are. I mean, even when you look at the way that they play, Stephen A. Smith, he's pounding the ball too much, he's holding the ball too much. You can make that argument, and I would not dispute your argument in a lot of cases. But that's how they play. Matter of fact, your biggest argument could be they don't really run offensive sets, it seems.
They don't run no sets. Nope.
They run pick and roll, and they run, hey, Luka, get in the lane and create something to the wing. And, maybe, and I'm just saying, because I don't know basketball the way I know football. And I don't know either one of those the way somebody who's spent their entire life doing it knows it. Maybe they need to have a couple of sets where, okay, when the pick and roll game is bogged down, we have one or two things we can go to create what we're trying to get to. Because obviously they got out of bounds plays.
I give you a perfect example of that. Was it game 3 where they was down by 4 with 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Kyrie is, the only ball handler in the game, so he bringing it up. Dribble, 30 seconds. It's a little bit of a screen game. No sets. He trying to shake the guy. He dribbled 12 seconds off and get a shot off where he covered. Why not call a set on the way up the court? At least if you get a couple of screens, he got 6 inches to shoot rather than 2. You know,
Yeah.
and then you go to that 7-second offense. We got to get this ball off because we got to get it back. You know, that's what killed me. They don't do that. They don't do that type of stuff. And I ain't no expert in basketball, but I love basketball. So I'm just saying, this guy.
A lot of that fun structurally, if that's the right word, philosophically is a better word, reminds me of the Cowboys offense when it was, hey, our guy's just better than your guy. The timing-based passing game. We don't do a lot of stuff. All our guys line up in the same spot. You really know what play we finna run. We ain't got but a few of them. But our guy is better than you, and so he's just going to make the play. Aikman going to throw it over there. You know Irving is running the skinny post to the deep out.
You know,
our two guys are just better than you.
Larry Allen going to make the train sound. Choo, choo. We coming this way. We running this dive right here, right there.
And really nothing you can do about it. I think the Mavericks run a lot of that. Our two guys are really better than you. They can get where they're trying to go. They can create. And that works
against most teams.
98% of the time.
Yeah.
You just got to now come up with something for that other 2%.
Yep.
And that's why I think in the big picture we always talk about it's a journey when you get your team together because you find out things all along the way. Oh, we got to add this, man, to get to the championship. Oh, dog, we got to add this to get to the championship. Oh, we got to add this to get to the championship, to win the championship. They added a bunch of pieces in the offseason that helped them get here. Based on what you know, there's no reason to think that in this particular offseason, Nico Harris and Jason Kidd wouldn't get together and say, okay, what do we need, dog? We need this, we need that, and we need that.
What do they need?
I think that's a good question. To me, they definitely need, and some of this may already be on the team. It just hadn't had a chance to play. And I'm talking about Jaden Hardy. He may be a scorer that you need. Now, his problem is how's he going to play? When's he going to play? Given Kyrie's minutes, he's a guard, this or that. But my whole point is you need another player you can rely on to score. I don't know if P.J. Washington is that guy.
I think you need another point guard.
In which respect?
The backup.
Okay.
I think you need because you got me and a friend of mine was talking about it. You got two guys that handle the ball really. And who's the backup? Who's the backup? Who's running the offense when you bring Luka? If you get a backup point guard, you can probably bring Luka and Kyrie off of there together, or you can have one guy set up. But then Jalen Hardy and Green and all of them are better because Hardy, he good, he can score, but he loses the ball a lot.
Yeah, I think that's the part of his game he got to work on. He probably, and I'm just saying this from the outside looking in, he probably one of them guys that got to understand. Okay, I'm having an old man moment. Okay, I got it now. John Wooden's famous quote: "Be quick, but not in a hurry." Because it seemed to me like he always in a hurry.
Yeah.
And you have to understand how to slow it down. You do that a lot. You know what, man? They talked to me about that a lot using different terminology when I first started doing a lot of TV because you're excited and you got adrenaline. You be talking too fast. Mm-hmm. Like, you need to get your points out, but you're not in a hurry. You got 30 seconds. 30 seconds is a long time if you talk slow. And you give yourself time to breathe between points and all of this. 30 seconds will go. So you don't have to be in a hurry to get it all out. And Jaden Hardy feels to me like he always in a hurry.
Yeah, so, that's where you get the backup, get them playing with somebody, with a backup point guard. And I've always believed in teams, like second team, first team. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And subbing in and all of that. You get that going. But you get a backup point guard that can run your second offense. You don't have to be flashy. But just get them guys in position to get run the whole thing, calm them down, like you say, slow your boy down, because they really don't have that. It's just if Luka leave, Kyrie becomes the point guard and the ball handler. Kyrie leave, and now So I don't know. That's what I'd like to see him have.
Yeah. So I think they need to add I mean, everybody's looking for this. You need another defensive wing, 3-and-D guys, we like to say in today's NBA. To me, they really have to get another scorer.
Well, they got.
I'm not saying an 18-point game score, but somebody that you can count on for buckets. And this is what I mean. If you, and this is the clearest example. If you add Porzingis, you know if I play Porzingis 30 minutes a game, he's going to score 20 points a game. So I can kind of put that down. The problem with these Mavericks, and the Stars ran into a little bit of this problem in their series, but the Mavericks, PJ, he might score 18, he might score 9. Derrick Jones Jr., he might score 16, he might score 5. All these cats, there's outside of the top two, there's nobody you can book and say, okay, this is 16 points a game right here. Now, of course, you have a game or two where you're not. But on most nights, boom, we mark you down for this 16, 18 points right here. That take a little bit of, like, Luka don't need to score 34 points a game. That's not an ideal situation to me. You want him down at, 28, 29, and let some other guys be able to pick up the slack.
I think you already got your score. I think PJ is that guy. Because I think the way they running their offense right now, like a 5-out offense where everybody's outside and you clearing the lane, that's not conducive to what PJ want to do. PJ can put the ball on the floor. PJ can post up. He can do more than shoot the corner three, and he done shown that a little bit. They just not running it. But they got a whole training camp and a whole 82 games to figure out what to do with him, and I think he's more talented than we realized because I didn't know he could play defense like that. And he did average 16 points in Charlotte. So right. I think he can be the third guy, especially since he don't have to be the main guy.
All right, I'm not opposed to that.
But if he can be, you go back to what you said though. If they start running some sets, you run some sets with PJ. I think he can get his because he big enough to push the little guys around, and he quick enough to go around the big guys. He's just a classic tweener for this era.
Right.
He would have never played 4 in the old era, but he's a classic 4. He can stretch you, he can go around you, and he give you some great defense.
Now here's the issue. Based on what you've seen and based on what I've seen, I don't know that they're going to run sets. You know what I mean? Which is interesting because Jason Kidd, ultimate point guard. So,
he got to play. He done learn how to. Jason done learn how not to force his way. Yeah, that's like I talked to a friend of mine. He's like, Jason Kidd is such a softy, man. I said, man,
Jason Kidd ain't no softy.
You need to Google Jason Kidd Milwaukee. They still cringing over there. You say Jason Kidd to the Greek freak, he start jumping and shit like somebody done slapped him a couple of times. It's like, man, so they, but he's learning. I think they gonna adapt. I think if we think they the good front office and the good coaching staff that they are, I think they gonna adapt to some stuff. It's just gonna be interesting to see what they do with a whole training camp, and then basically Kyrie played the whole season. He wasn't injured as much as he has been in the past.
Right, because he liked this team. He liked to play.
Yeah,
and this is what I mean when I think this is just real. Like, and I'm not saying he was faking injuries by any stretch, but when you like to play with the guys that you play with, you like the front office, you like the vibe. This is a team you like to be on. You play through some stuff that might have kept you out, or the stuff that used to be nagging. And, hey, Kyrie, you good? Nah, well, man.
They say if you want to feel better, make something feel better, rub a contract on it. I don't know.
That too. So it's.
I believe I believe what you're saying. Where it's the attitude, it's the overall.
It's the whole mental thing.
Yes,
bro.
sir. Yes,
it's
sir.
all good, man. Mentality, mental stuff matters. It matters. I mean, and I say this all the time, dog. Think about yourself. Really.
Do you want
athletes are people?
Do you want to go into work,
dude?
Do you
how
want
many times
to go in?
Have we all said, "Man, I can't believe this mother is
I can't
in
stand
charge
this job."
today.
Yeah.
Hey, man, who the manager on Saturday?
Yeah.
Content Day?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I ain't
Motherfucker,
going.
get on my
I
damn
ain't
man.
going, yeah.
I mean, dog, think about it. I'm not really serious, man. You don't have to look like that. Content Day looked like that boo-boo. He gave me that nasty look.
Well, the rap,
but that's the point. We've all had to work with people where you like, man, I don't feel like going in, or you at a job you can't stand. First time you get a sniffle, I got a cold. I see y'all in 2 days. Can't come in today. I think that was a lot of what Kyrie had, you know, and that's why I'm forever talking about it. Athletes are people, and we forget that they're people because they're great athletes. They got the same emotions you got. Yes, they make more money, but they got the same emotions you got about going to work and dealing with bosses who are coaches and dealing with colleagues who are teammates. That same stuff, man. We all got colleagues and teammates at work colleagues at work where we've been like, man, I can't stand that dude. I don't even want to be in. I mean, it's just human nature. And so athletes are no different in terms of being personalities and having things at work, which just happens to be their team. And if you can start to look at them through that prism, it'll change a lot the way you look at athletes. Now, that don't mean you co-sign on everything they do. It just means you have a better understanding sometimes of why they act the way they act and they do what they do. Real quick, I think, and you tell me what you think. I think I just can't get over the fact that with 3:37 left in Game 3, the Mavericks had rallied from that 20-point deficit. They down 93-92 after Kyrie hits a jumper. And I can't believe these fools for to pull this comeback off, get back within 2-1, and now it's game on because they still ain't played their best game. And in the next 26 seconds, man, Jaylen Brown hit him with a follow-up rebound for a bucket. They got a turnover off a foul. P.J. Washington with a screen in the backcourt. Derek White hit a three, and just like that, it was 98-92, and the game was over. And to me, those 26 seconds is really, I'm not going to say the Mavericks won because I think the Celtics are a better team, but the psychology of any series can change very quickly. And if the Mavericks win that game, they have that comeback. All the questions leading into Game 4 are about the Celtics' inability to close, how the Celtics have this history and pattern of doing this, blah, blah, blah. And I think it would have been a much longer series and much different series. But that did not happen. And we know what happened. Once you went down 3-0, it's just, I mean, it's virtually impossible to get back in it. Did you see that 26-second stretch? Is that important?
Nah, I think even if they'd have won that game, it doesn't matter. We got a healthy Luka. If the Mavericks play better, it don't matter. Boston was just a better team this year.
How about it?
They was who we thought they was. To paraphrase, I didn't think they was that great. But the record said, you kept pointing to the numbers and all this other stuff, and I'm going, nah, they playing in the East. Nah, everybody got hurt on the 16-3 in the playoffs. Everybody got hurt on the way to the championship. I didn't buy into the numbers. I didn't.
Right.
You know, I was like, nah, the hell with that. You know, the best teams are in the West. Nope. I didn't see them guys play that much all year. And I'm going to tell you, and I keep saying the same thing, that they was a great team overall. And I think that's why they would have beat the Mavericks anyway.
Yeah.
I was surprised by that. I thought it was the same old Celtics, but it was not.
Nah, I'm going to say this. Somebody I respect said the other day, said, you know, the series should really be 2-2. Because if the Mavericks, the way they won that other game, they didn't pull back on Game 3. And my whole thought process was, you know, that's that whole butterfly effect thing. If the Celtics lose Game 3, then they don't come out in Game 4 like, oh, we got this thing wrapped up. We'll go celebrate in Boston. They come out with a whole different mentality. So it still might have been 3-1. You know, none of us will ever know. It's good for conversation. But I'm with you. And it didn't take me too long to figure out that, the Celtics team, once I get to really watch them, because I watched the other series that they played, but I didn't really like watch them. Mm-hmm. Once you start watching them after that first game and a half, I was like, ooh, this is a problem right here, dog. And especially for the way the Mavericks play, that's why we kept saying matchups matter. The Celtics matchup exposed all the Mavericks' flaws, just like they exposed flaws in other teams that they played. And so now that you know, this is what the standard is if we want to win a championship, because Boston ain't going nowhere for a few years. And then you got Wemby, you got the Knicks. I mean, the NBA to me is really competitive.
Yeah, that's why I didn't say the Mavericks will be back to the championship next 5 years. I said the Mavericks will be really good the next 5 years.
They will be contending.
Yeah, they will be contenders. If they keep the band together and them guys develop, all right. You know, I say I want to see what they do with a full training camp. And hopefully Kyrie stay healthy the whole year next year. And that's the thing that people don't never count, that injuries matter. You know,
yeah, they do,
big time. So he was healthy, and the next year he could not be healthy, and then what's going to happen?
Yeah,
you know, there's no guarantee.
Now.
There's no guarantee you get back. Ain't no guarantee you're going to get back to that.
No,
you know,
no. Ask the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, well, what happens is next year, at least instead of the Mavericks just being a quirky team with Kyrie and Luka and everybody kind of overlooking them a little bit, next year they're going to be the guys that went to the championship. And everybody going to be up for them.
Yep.
I.e. the Atlanta Hawks. Like you say, the brakes got beat off of them because they thought they was that. No. That's more of a divisive thing with them.
Good thing is in the West, it's so competitive that you know it's going to be tough. And so whether people get their good game or not, almost all the teams are good. So it's more than a notion to get those W's. But there's a hell of a run by the Mavericks. There's a hell of a season. Once the sting of losing dissipates in a few days or a week or so, ain't no
sting from me, dog. When you down 3-0, the sting is out. You know what I'm saying?
So you already about enjoying what was a wonderful season.
Yeah, cause 3-0, dog. Come on, 3-1. We seen people come back from that, but 3-0. Nah, I never. No, I was like, man, put me out of my misery, dog. Come on, cause y'all don't have the energy to they didn't have it in them,
right?
To pull that off. I mean, it was
and maybe that's what we saw at the start of last night. But
that's
came out there.
That's what Clarence was saying the other day. How people forget. That's what you shouldn't do as a fan. I'm not doing it. How we lost to the Celtics. Don't forget how they got there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Don't do that, because it was a great run.
I'll
take it, you know. But that's what he was saying the other day with people doing the memes, like comparing Luka to Dak.
Yeah, come on now.
Yeah.
And I like Dak, but come on now.
Yeah.
One is a certified Hall of Famer, going to be one of the best to ever play, and one of them is a really good quarterback.
Yep. And he is really good, too.
Yeah, and there's no shade there.
Yeah, not at all.
Let's move on to the block, which is brought to you each and every Wednesday when Todd Archer's not here, by Smokey John's Barbecue over there at 1820 West Mockingbird. Let me tell y'all something. I'm going to lunch at Smokey John's Barbecue today. I'll tell y'all about it on our next show. I got a business meeting over there, and I decided what better place to go than Smokey John's Barbecue. And have some soul food, some barbecue if you want that. Whatever you want, they got. I'm not going to have the Jam Session Bowl today, but I am going to recommend it to the dude that I'm meeting for lunch. And since I'm picking up the tab, I may just order it for him and tell him, hey, you need to eat this. Which I will give him the option of a mashed potato base or mac and cheese base. And then he will get the option, 2 out of 5 smoked meats. And then all that good stuff they put out on it that you find on the loaded baked potato, you know, like bacon bits and sour cream and cheese and butter, chives, onions, all that good stuff. Then, man, they drench it with sauce or they drizzle it with sauce, whichever you prefer. And then that's the Smokey John's Jam Session Bowl. It is food to live for. It is fantastic. It's enough for 2 people. Easy. So he'll probably take some leftovers home. Definitely, if you got a little shorty, 6 or 7, it's enough for them. The Smokey John's Barbecue, 1820 West Mockingbird. Food to live for. Now, check this out. If you need Smokey John's in your life, what you need to do is go to the marketplace. Click on the website. Okay? And then get the sauce or the rub sent to your crib right away. Be there in a couple days and you can enjoy. That's a rub right there. You can enjoy it on whatever meats you like. And for a special treat, I'm just saying this. Try it on some popcorn, okay? Just try it. Let me know how it turns out. And then, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have Juan and Brent, one of them, on the show in the next few days because they got a lot of things popping and they got some great things. They got a great story that I want y'all to hear about. The other thing is, if you need some Smokey John's in your life today, especially this right here, the rub, you can find it. Check this out now, HEB. All right? Go to HEB, Frisco, Allen, McKinney, over there by Big Joe, Burleson, Waxahachie. Get it off the shelf. You can have it at the crib today. Now, here's the other thing I want to tell y'all about what Smokey John's is doing. At Joe V's, that's a Trader Joe's alternate spot. They got this in Duncanville, right across the street from IBOC. You can get the sauce and the rub and the banana pudding all at that spot. Does it really get any better than that? Now, I don't talk about this a lot because, you know, as a former fat guy, I try to stay away from that banana pudding. Smokey John's banana pudding. You know what it is, right? Love in your mouth. Don't take my word for it. Go over there to Joe V's, pick some up, and then just go tell everybody about it. Smokey John's Barbecue, food to live for, 1820 West Mockingbird, or now at Joe V's Mart and at HEB's all over the Metroplex. Smokey John's Barbecue, blowing up because the food is to live for. And on that note, dog, let's talk about Father's Day. I had a great time. This idea popped in my head a few months ago, and I don't know why. It just popped in there. My brother lives in the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, and I said to myself, Self, why don't me and my son, for Father's Day, go to Phoenix and tell my dad, who most of y'all know lives in Buffalo, to meet us in Phoenix. And we just have a men's fellowship weekend. And I gotta tell you, it was fantastic. I mean, it was one of the best weekends I've ever had. And we didn't even do a whole lot, man. Icing on the cake is my brother. Had the weekend with his 5-year-old daughter. Now, that did mean we had to go watch the kids' movie In and Out on Friday. But can I tell y'all something? Hey, did you take your boys or your kids to a lot of movies when they were younger?
Yep. And then we got the video every Tuesday. The new video came out every Tuesday. You know, it was cassettes back then.
Right.
VHS back then, but yeah, I took them to.
How many movies was you looking forward to seeing, or was you just being the dutiful father?
Nah, I was just pretty much doing what I wanted to do. I know Shark Tales was pretty good.
Okay.
Finding Nemo, I had to get bribed into Finding Nemo, but that ended up being good. Some of them movies end up okay. I like the stuff that came out on VHS because they're gonna watch it 17 times, and
right.
Some of that stuff I was like, why do y'all like this crap? You know, I did find on another note, I did find a 3-cassette Star Wars VHS set that's worth about $1,500. I just happened to have it.
Is that right?
Some of those old cassettes that y'all have, y'all better check that stuff.
Dang, I ain't got none.
Yeah, I do. I got a bunch of crap. I got 23 years worth of stuff in my house.
Dude.
That, yeah. But anyway, that's an exit right there. But go ahead.
Yeah. No, because they make the kids' movies not so bad. I think they make them double entendre movies.
Yes, they do. Shrek is like that. Lots of stuff like that. Yeah, the kids don't get the joke, but you get the joke.
Right? Or you get, you can put your theme. Because In and Out is really about...
Inside Out.
Inside Out, I'm sorry. It's really about this young lady who's coming up on puberty, so she's dealing with all these emotions and that anybody has when they're going through that. And she's on a hockey team, and it's about teamwork and all this stuff. But it's really about all her emotions. So the movie's about her different emotions are represented by different characters, and they all fighting for control of her. And so, even as an adult, you can look at that and be like, oh yeah, this is, for me, this is what's always fighting for control, blah, blah, blah. So we did that on Friday night. On Saturday, we, I don't even know what we did Saturday. Oh, what we ended up doing Saturday? We ended up sitting around the house most of the day because my brother said, it's so hot here. We kind of like vampires. Between 12 and 6, we ain't really out in the streets, man. He said, because there's nothing out there for you. Nothing but heat. And so we ended up, my brother, dude, it pains me to admit this from a sibling perspective. My brother has turned into one hell of a cook. So he was cooking all this different stuff. And I was like, dude, this is legitimately good. Give me the recipe. Tell me how you cook this. And so we ended up cooking for much of the day some different stuff while we sat around and told lies about our childhood and just hung out with my dad. And then on Sunday we had what is now morphed into whoever's together, it becomes a family pool tournament. So we went and found us a spot where we could play pool, and my niece could come, and it wasn't too bad. So we had the pool table. Had the tournament, man, and somehow, okay, check this out, man. Somehow my father emerged victorious. My father, now we playing pool, dog, 1-on-1. When it's my time to shoot, and my brother's time to shoot, and my son's time to shoot, you look at the ball, you line it up, you take 10, 15 seconds, maybe, you take the shot. Why my dad taking a minute and a half to study the shot, man? At one point we said, you think you Tiger Woods, dog? Can you just line up and shoot?
Hey, measure twice, cut once.
Dog, he took that thing to the next level.
Yeah.
And but he won the tournament, the family tournament, and then we had some game he made up called Last Man Standing, where you just continue to shoot, and then whoever hits the 8 ball at the end wins. But my son managed that, and so I was bemoaning the fact that I didn't win anything. The son said, "Hey, you beat me in both games we played." I said, "Hey, doc, we hang banners around here. I had a great regular season. I didn't win no trophies." And so he found that very amusing. And so that was Father's Day for us, man. I learned how to make guacamole from scratch. I learned how to make, you probably know this, I learned how to make some panko salmon bites. And I learned a few things that I didn't know about how to better cook a steak on the grill. So that's what I did for Father's Day. It was fantastic. And then the funniest part, man, is that we left yesterday. My dad's flight was 3 hours before mine. So he left earlier, took an Uber to the airport, calls us and said, "Hey, my flight's delayed." So we get to the airport. He still ain't left yet, dog. So we went over there and hung out with him some more. And then we went to our gate, which was down the street and around the corner. Then his flight got delayed again, and they changed the gate. And so now his gate was next to our gate. So we talked some more.
Bonus time.
Hey, man, he said he put a text in the group chat talking about, I said bye to Jacques and AJ 5 times today. So that's how I spent Father's Day. It's probably one of the best ones I've ever had. certainly one of the most memorable ones. As we got out of the car, I dropped my son off last night. He's like, "Dad, thanks for a great trip. This was fantastic." And I was like, "Dude, that's all I needed to hear." Now, what'd you do for Father's Day?
Went to Papacitos and ate with my daughter, and then did yard work. I did yard work early in the morning, and then that's, I don't know. I just kind of enjoy doing father-type stuff on Father's Day. Then I enjoy spending time with my family. And then, I got a haircut.
Somebody says you needed a shave.
Nah, I didn't need no shave. That's what Calvin said. I didn't need no shave. I didn't need no shave because, you know what? I was pressed for time. See, people take their time cutting your hair. And then they say, "Well, are you going to shave?" I said, you drug your feet, so I'm just going to have to look scrappy today. She does not like my beard. My wife does not like my beard. I don't.
Do you like it?
Oh, yeah. If it pisses her off a little bit, yeah, it's all right. She said, I said, "I'm a handsome man." She said, "Yeah, you are, but you look scrappy." I said, "All right, I take that. It's all good. I don't mind being 57 years old. I survived a lot of stuff that I never talk about to get to be 57 years old. So if I got gray hair and I got a wild beard, I earned that." One of my friends told me I look like Grady. That's fine.
Man, if you hadn't said that, I never would have thought about it. Now that you said that, I'm down with it.
I don't care. I don't. I'm. You know what? I'm a man's man. I don't have no problem with that. Y'all do what y'all want. Ain't none of y'all been through what I've been through. I ain't gonna say that again. See what I'm saying? So I'm good. I like I said, it's a lot of times in the service I couldn't have facial hair.
Right.
So yeah, I'm a little wild with it.
Well, that's good, man.
It's all good. Yeah, that was Calvin. Both talking about you need to shave. Okay.
That's Calvin Watkins, who covers the Cowboys for the Dallas Morning News.
Yeah.
If this was a radio show, man, right then when you said I get a little wild with it, I'd have been like, mark that, so we can use that at another time to make fun of you. But okay. Father's Day was fantastic. I'm glad you had a great Father's Day.
Oh, always. Yeah.
I mean, I had a blast, man. Matter of fact, we decided. I can't remember if I talked to y'all about this, but I think I did. But main thing is just as my father gets older, I'm just more intentional about the time we spend together, especially because he's in great health right now, and he can, as he told me, I can get around with the best of them, and so I like my dad, not just because he's my dad. He cool to hang around. Oh, we'll talk about this next time, man. He also dropped. I took Clarence's advice, and we sat down and had a talk about the family history from his side of the family. He came up with some really interesting revelations that I'll reveal to y'all at the next, because it's stuff that you don't really think about, man, about how your whole family gets. What's the word I'm looking for? How your whole family is affected by the choices and decisions people make for generations, and some of it they don't even have nothing to do with it. It's just the circumstances they were put in, and so it's really interesting, especially if you from an African American perspective.
Well, the family is a unit, so whatever especially your immediate family is a unit. So whatever they do, that's why we had the conversation where I was being more literal. You was being more figurative when we was talking about you can do anything you want. Right. Sometimes anything you want is a good choice for you. But if you doing anything you want and you're doing bad choices, it's going to affect your family and you for generations. Yeah. I would agree with that 100%. Yeah. So it turned into a really interesting conversation, and it was a good time. And the other thing is I'd like my son to have some real memories and time with his grandfather. Just because they don't live in the same state, so they don't hang around a lot. And when he used to go visit when he was a little kid, my father was what I would term a workaholic. So he
You know, my father once told me, man, because I told him, I said, hey, man, you know, AJ's only up there a couple weeks. Can you spend some time, some intentional time? Now, he's not like this. But this is what he was, you know, 15 years ago or 12 years ago. You know what that man told me? That man looked me dead in the face and said, you know, my son, because this is how he talks when he's being dramatic. You know, my son, an hour with me is like 24 hours with someone else. And I was just like, how do you respond to that, dog?
I don't know. I don't know what to say about that.
When you get older, you say, Dad, that's some bullshit. When you're younger, you go, oh, really? Okay. But no. So anyway, we had a great time. They had a great time.
That's good. I mean, it's good to be around. You know, I think that's a good idea to put him around your grandpa. I lost my grandpa when I was 35.
Right.
That's 35 years of soaking up all of that.
Yeah.
Learning everything, learning all I could from him. And I miss him dearly. And he is missed by many. And he was a hell of a man. And I think I followed in his footsteps, not only as a veteran, as a father, you know, and the way I look at things. And, influence is good. Even if it's your dad, it's your grandfather. That's a lot of, that's what Father's Day mean to me, is what influence did you have on somebody, you know, and appreciating the fact that, you know, I had dinner with my daughter, but it was great, you know, and I wouldn't have posted that regular ass picture on Facebook, but that's what she wanted.
Right.
So, you know, I'm always happy to be with family like that, and you know, I'm just saying, that's the coolest thing about Father's Day. People do Father's Day differently. Some people don't do nothing. And, you know, just be left alone. And then some people want a lot of people around them. And,
right.
Like, you know,
however you get down.
Oh, yeah.
I heard some interesting stuff about that, man, that made me wonder. Like, I just want to be left alone. I just want Dad's Day. I just want to do what I do, which is nothing. Y'all get out the house. Y'all go enjoy yourselves. Just leave me alone.
Yeah.
And I was like, I hadn't really thought about it like that. But,
that, man, don't get me started.
You know,
a long time is good time sometimes.
Now, you know what, man? And see, I was thinking about that, and then I thought some more, and I go, you know, if you are a, quote, traditional father at a traditional work kind of spot, you might not really have any alone time at your crib, because you at work, you come home, you got your family, you got your kids, you whatever. And I was thinking, you know, with my schedule and the way I am as a writer and as a journalist, I've always been at the house alone because everybody else was at work or at school or something, and I was there for 2 or 3 hours on a given time, just hanging out by myself. So I got the alone time that people crave so much just because my schedule and the work I did afforded me that.
Yeah,
so I can see how people could be like that.
Truck driving the same. You know, when I get back off route and I got couple of weekdays off, I'm at home by myself 8 hours.
I'm full.
I'm sitting in my drawers eating cereal for six hours of the day. Now, you know, they're getting ready to get home. I got to be responsible. I got to put some clothes on, you know, and turn the video games off. And, you know, how y'all doing today? I got to be grown.
Love it. That sounds like a good spot to leave. I'm sitting there for 6 hours playing video games, eating cereal in my drawers.
My drawers. There you go.
Hey, me and Content Dave got a surprise for y'all this week. Wednesday. That would be today. Noon. Check out the YouTube channel. Jacques Talk. The real Jacques Talk on YouTube. Please go there. Subscribe. You can do it right now. And then that way you make sure you get tomorrow's second episode, Jacques Talk 101, dropped right in your notifications. You don't even have to wonder when it's out. Boom. It'll show up. So please do that. You can follow the show on IG at The Real Jacques Talk. You can hit me up on Twitter, X, at JJT Journalist. Remember, if you think you follow me, you don't. Because my account has been kidnapped and I refuse to pay the ransom. How you like them apples? You can also hit me up on Twitter, where I do a lot of videos on Clapper. I am Jean-Jacques Taylor is the handle. For Big Joe and the Big Rig. Until we chat again, you guys be blessed.